Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. We have with us Jay Mulakala, a solutions engineering manager. Welcome, everyone, and welcome to this Growth Talk. And welcome, Jay.
Yeah, thanks, Alex. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. So, Jay, briefly describe to me the responsibilities of a solutions engineering manager.
Sure. I'll start off with a caveat saying that the role certainly changes depending on the company you're talking to. But in general, solutions engineering managers across different companies have the same purpose. Primarily, it's the ability to build a team for SaaS-focused companies that are selling to really technical customers. So, for example, I work for a company called Drone Deploy today, where our goal is to be able to enable customers to be able to go out, capture data using drone technology, and be able to use the data that we provide to be able to create different business decisions, regardless of what industry they might be in. Compared to maybe a traditional product, this is a product that requires a little bit of education, requires a little bit of training, requires a little bit of technical knowledge and aptitude to be able to properly convey to our customers what we do, what value they can get from the product, and help unblock some of their technical challenges. And so in the past, traditionally the sales rep, the account executive, the CSM would be the primary representative who would have to manage these conversations with customers. And the pre-sales group that encompasses solutions engineers as well is this newer division of SaaS sales that really came about in the past 10 to 20 years because of the advent of these highly technical solutions, so that we have this product and industry expert solutions engineers on the sales side, on the go-to-market side of the organization, that can help drive those technical conversations and those technical discussions pre-sale. And so my responsibility as a manager is to help build out that team right now in North America, but we're also building our team globally. And so we have a lot of interesting challenges when we start thinking about how do we have these conversations with different audiences, different industries worldwide, as well as what do we think about in terms of compensation, what do we think about in terms of alignment to be able to make the best use of these technical resources.
Yeah, and what's really interesting there is you've mentioned being a first line of building solutions globally. Have you ever used this knowledge to influence the direction in which a product goes? Has solution engineering influenced that marketing or product role?
Absolutely. I'll say this is again an area where in the past, the sales rep may be the one providing feedback directly to the product team. And there's a few challenges with that. One, the sales rep is entirely thinking about if they're bringing in new business, they're looking at primarily that new business and whatever it's going to take to close the deal at that moment in time. They may be also thinking about that particular prospect's interests and may not necessarily be decoding between what's a nice to have requirement versus a must have requirement for that particular customer. And the way different customers talk about features can vary as well. So with solutions engineers, we have an interesting opportunity because it means that we can sort of filter through all the different comments that are coming in from customers. And it also means that we have a more holistic picture of what our prospects and customers are asking of our product and of our company. And we're able to filter all that information into an easily digestible resource for the product team. So we've certainly helped influence some of our most recent product roadmap decisions, and it's certainly helped the product team make more educated decisions as opposed to them going out and trying to gather information from 100 different sources to be able to make the right product decisions.
And when you're working alongside a sales representative, how often should you be involved in the customer interaction? What's a good amount of time to be in contact with the customer?
Yeah, it's a great question. And this is one where I'll say it varies considerably from company to company. If you look at traditional SaaS software, we're looking at like a marketing automation platform, a CRM tool, an accounting tool. Those are tools that customers are really familiar with today, and if they're looking at your product, they've likely used a similar tool in the past. So in those types of businesses, the SE may only be involved at a very specific point during the sales process where the customer wants to know the pros and cons of different solutions, maybe wants to test out the product in their own instance using their own data. And so the SE will be involved in a handful of conversations entirely during the evaluation. Over at Drone Deploy, what we've learned over the past few years is our team, the solutions engineers, really need to be more heavily involved throughout the entire sales process. We have a very technical product that requires us to ask the right types of discovery questions to understand if we can even achieve the business objectives that our customer has. And we are more heavily involved through the data lifecycle through our product that's inclusive of capturing that data, processing that data, and analyzing that data in their own instance. So solutions engineers at Drone Deploy, we're involved from the initial discovery stage all the way through solution evaluation. And we're still involved in some early qualification calls, and we may still be involved in late stage negotiation calls because we have that industry and technical background that we can provide to a sales representative to ensure that we're giving the correct quote to the customer that both is helpful for the customer and positions them appropriately, but also benefits the business in ensuring our long-term growth with that account.
Yeah, and just to kind of like circle back into like the technicality of the aspect, I think one of the interesting things about the solutions engineering position is some people always consider it's they have a coding background or a mechanical engineering background, but that's not always the case. Would you agree? You wouldn't have to be completely technical. You just have to be versed in what's this solution technically going to be for this existing customer and client.
Absolutely. I'll say from the other SE teams that I've seen and witnessed, as much as the name sounds very engineering focused, we do very little engineering as a team itself. I will say that can modify or change as a product becomes more technical and in-depth. But really our goal as a team is to have in-depth product knowledge and to have in-depth industry knowledge, which is more specific to our organization. And so we have a really diverse group of backgrounds in our team alone. We have an ex-consultant that's worked primarily with oil and gas companies who brings that subject matter expertise to the team. We have a farmer who's been farming for generations, and he's our in-house agriculture expert and helps us build trust and learn more about the agriculture industry. We have others who come to us from other competitors and bring some competitive knowledge and background, as well as industry expertise within the drone industry. And so I'll say for any solutions engineer, it's less so about having an engineering or a coding background. I will say it's a requirement that you can understand those concepts and be able to comprehend those concepts. But what's more important is being able to take those really complicated concepts, digesting it down into something that's very consumable for the customer and being able to convey it to the customer in a way that makes it really tangible for them. And so in some ways, we're not necessarily looking for those that have really heavy engineering backgrounds, because we also need that customer-facing skill set that's harder to find in some engineers, primarily because we need them to be able to condense those really difficult topics in a way that a customer understands, and be able to pick and choose what is the right talk track, what is the right aspect of our product that's going to be the most applicable for this customer, as opposed to anything and everything that a product might be able to do for the customer.
Yes, because if you're at the forefront of this technology, for example, drone technology, who you're selling to may have never seen or physically believe the drone could have that application to improve their lives. So they may have no knowledge, whereas you may have a very technical knowledge of drone and engineering, but the individual you're selling to doesn't know, and you need to educate them in a manner which makes sense to them. But coming back to the actual solutions engineering position, we hear a lot of roles such as SEs. It's the same shortening of the words, solutions engineer, sales engineer, CSM, account manager, onboarding manager. What's the difference between those roles and a solutions engineer?
Yeah, great question. I'll say this is one where we've seen a lot of overlap in previous years. And there really aren't very many differences. I'll say there's actually The three most common I hear come up are really around sales engineers, solutions consultants, solutions engineers. And at the end of the day, they all really mean the same exact thing. A lot of their roles and responsibilities are almost identical. We did make one really interesting change to our team, specifically in 2020. Prior to this year, our team was called the sales engineering team. And as a solutions engineering manager, I went in and decided that it was a time for us to go in and rebrand the team as a solutions engineering team. And I did that for a few reasons. And it might seem very minor, but it really is about, one, educating customers on what our roles and responsibilities are and setting expectations within the go-to-market organization about what we do as a company. The most common term you'll hear most often is sales engineer, or SEs throughout the pre-sales field. And that's the type of role you'll find in a lot of SaaS companies. One of the reasons we decided to make the switch to solutions engineer is because sales engineers are usually very product focused individuals. And one of the lessons we learned early on is, in addition to our team being product focused, we need to be industry experts. We're a horizontal product. We work across different verticals, and thus we need to be able to have knowledge and expertise in those different industries. The second thing we realized is that we aren't just a point and replace solution. We're not just replacing one product that the customer may have. We may be a supplemental product to systems they already have, or we may be replacing 10 different tools that the customer is doing today, or different workflows that the customer is doing today where they may not even have a software solution. And so the solutions engineer mindset is really about, look, we've got a series of services already within our organization that we offer. We also have a full-fledged platform and APIs accessible. And we have a product that's been built out for customers in a variety of different industries. So solutions engineer isn't just jumping in to have a point of conversation that they use with every single customer. It varies with each prospect that they come to, and they need to be knowledgeable about not only where our software fits into the customer's needs, but where our entire solution fits in. And that's inclusive of our services, that's inclusive of our training, that's inclusive of our consulting and our APIs, where we're having that broader conversation about our customer's end-to-end solution, as opposed to just our software product. And that's where that solutions engineer, in my mind, really differs from a traditional sales engineer. CSMs and onboarding managers, I'll say those are slightly different. CSMs, we still work with CSMs. The way we see them at our company is they're essentially project managers for our larger customers, where they need to be able to help coach larger customers in where their current deployment is today and help them figure out what the best deployment of their licenses and resources are throughout their entire organization. And they may rely on a pre-sales SE, or they may rely on a post-sales technical resource or an onboarding manager to help them with more of the technical implementation of their product.
Yeah. Can I set up a relationship between a client and a customer, and then the actual the company themselves? What advice could you give to a customer who's preparing for a successful conversation or an evaluation of a technology, to prepare for that solutions engineer conversation?
Good question. I'll say we have customers that come to us with different levels of knowledge before even joining, even getting an SE engaged in that conversation. We have a variety of webinars that we host regularly. We have a series of blog posts that the SE team has even contributed to. We have live events and other webinars that we host regularly. And so our customers have a decent amount of material to be able to consume and learn about our product before they even engage with a sales resource at Drone Deploy and engage with a solutions engineer. So I'll say, what really helps in our position is having a customer who is fully educated before even getting to this point of the sales process where we're engaging a solutions engineer. So we've built out a series of resources that our go-to-market team, inclusive of CSMs and AEs, can provide to net new prospects or customers who are just getting started in their maturity curve, that can help educate them on different ways they can leverage our product, our solution, or tangential resources to make the most of drone technology. And that really allows us to have a much more streamlined conversation about how to implement those different resources to accomplish whatever challenge they may have. as opposed to starting with a greenfield prospect, net new, who's new to the space, where there is a lot of legwork and groundwork required just to get them to a point where they're knowledgeable about the industry and the solutions that can be provided before we can start talking to them about a larger commercial agreement. Definitely.
And that sometimes can mean the difference between an engaged and convertible customer to, you know, this person may need more time, or this may not be the perfect solution for them moving forwards. What advice could you give to an aspiring solutions engineer?
Yeah, absolutely. For anyone aspiring to enter the role, again, this is a brand new role that is new to the go-to-market organization. It really started about 10 to 20 years ago. And the definition is constantly changing. But what we know as a community is that the tech industry is growing rapidly. SaaS solutions are getting larger, broader, more complicated, and requires much more technical knowledge than solutions have in the past. It's not as simple as just having the sales rep go in and talk to a customer. There really is a team of resources that are required to ensure that we can have the right conversations with customers, that we can hold our own when we're having technical conversations with customers, and to really ensure we're building the right solution for a customer. In the solutions engineering field, there are companies that will hire very experienced SEs that have worked with other companies and have been in that role. That's a strategy that we at DroneDeploy have not chosen to pursue, precisely because we know that being an SE at DroneDeploy is not the same as being an SE at a traditional SaaS company. And really, we're looking for individuals that can learn really quickly, that can adapt to the ever-changing technology landscape, which inevitably changes every single year, and can wrap really quickly on different industries. And because of the number of industries that we serve and other SaaS products serve as well, and how complicated these products are going, for any new SE, I'd say really focus on what is your area of specialty? What is your area of focus? It's very difficult for an SE to be a broad SE and still have deep knowledge into different areas of the product. So if there is a particular industry that you're passionate about and interested in, specialize in that industry, learn more about it, read industry articles and white papers, and become really knowledgeable in that space so that you can help benefit customers in that space. And that could be something that is industry specific, or it could be technology specific. Maybe you're an expert leveraging APIs, or you understand machine learning, or you understand and want to learn more about drones and drone technology. Whatever that technology of interest is for you, find that one niche segment that you want to pursue, because that's what's really going to make you an appealing candidate for any company in that space looking to hire SEs in that space.
That's fantastic advice. Well, Jay, we've come to the end of our Growth Talk today. Thank you everyone for listening, and thank you, Jay, for joining me today. Have a great rest of your day.